Good evening and welcome to 27 Minutes right here on UPN 27. On Tuesday, September 14th, there will be a public informational hearing on the expansion needs of the Jasper Middle School. They will also hear from the public, will the school board, on what needs to be done with the Jasper Middle School. A couple of months ago, the school board members took a tour of the Jasper Middle School, and also the superintendents talked about year-long school.
It's not here yet, but it could be on its way. After all year school is a topic that continues to surface on superintendent desks. Greater Jasper Consolidated School District Superintendent Larry Riggs and Southwest Dubois County School District Superintendent Bob Yost expressed their views on the subject from behind their desks some time ago. For Superintendent Riggs, it's somewhere in the future.
As an educator, I really believe that the days of having 3 months off in the summer should have been over with years and years and years ago. I see no reason not to go to school the year round. I am a strong supporter of it, but I also know that any dramatic change of that nature will take a great deal of involvement from the community, the students, the parents, the educators. And when I talk about year-round school, I'm not really speaking to going 365 days a year.
As you see downstairs, we took the whole old
While the question of building new or adding to the Jasper Middle School is being considered, an expanded curriculum committee is looking at the possibilities of where education is going.
Keep in mind the possibility of going to a year-round schedule where students would go to school for 50 days, be off 10, another 50, off 10, so on and so forth. Still have many of the same breaks they have now and have 1 month off in the summer as opposed to 3 months. Study after study has proven that the learning is increased and go to a 200-day as opposed to a 180-day calendar. Learning is increased because of more time on task, and retention is much greater because there's less time out of the classroom.
Whenever the band's in here and she's trying to teach music or anything else that goes on, you know, there isn't any much soundproofing in there that goes through.
While looking at Jasper Middle School facility needs, studies may also indicate future classroom needs from preschool to adult learning.
The possibilities that we might need, and it could all be incorporated in with a new facility that we might be building. So I just think we need to really do everything to keep ourselves from becoming complacent, because in Jasper, as you very well know, we're very fortunate to have good people, good kids, good teachers, and administrators, and we have a lot of success academically, athletically, and all extracurricular. And I think when people have a kind of success, sometimes they have a tendency to say, why change it? It's good enough. My point is, I think we need to, when things are going really well, which they are, that's the time to look at the possibility of improvement. Where can you improve and how can you improve? And that would involve a great deal of change.
Music productions and girls basketball, when they started up in the 70s. Is that right?
There are advantages and disadvantages to all your school considerations.
Some of the things that families have to deal with.
Staying on task and using the 10 days off for remediation or teacher training are the advantages. The disadvantages would be summer programs that need to be rethought.
You look at the kids at the swimming pool, you look at the summer baseball leagues, and all of those things. It will have to be a cooperative effort with a lot of parents, a lot of city officials, a lot of recreational directors. You know, so there are disadvantages built in, and we need to study. We need to study some other school corporations who've done this and see what other pitfalls are out there and possibly arrange a way to avoid those. But I believe that the educational advantages far, far outweigh any disadvantages that we might have to undertake.
Stay tuned. We will have more 27 Minutes right after this. Yep. Welcome back. It's now time for today's Homeowner, brought to you by Kremp Lumber Company in Jasper.
Any home improvement project is made a lot easier with the right tools, and painting is no exception. You need to start out with a good quality brush. Now, it'll be a little more expensive, but it'll make the job a lot easier, and you can make this brush last a long time by maintaining it properly. After you've finished every paint job, clean it well and use a wire brush to really straighten out and clean the bristles. Also, always save the original case on it and return the brush each time to the original case. This will allow you to really keep the shape of the brush real well. And also, once you've got it all together like this, just hang it on a nail in your shop. That'll keep it in good shape. Also, you will rarely see a professional painter without this versatile tool. It allows him to cut open the paint cases on this side, open the paint cans here, do a little scraping, and when he's cleaning up that roller, he's able to really wipe it clean. This will make your job a lot easier when you're painting around your house.
The value of reading is explored as Tony Frigg takes in a library lesson.
Schools are in session and homework is part of the learning process. At the library, lessons are often taught through storytelling. Gary Whitman, through the years, has explored many books for his lessons. Searches many sources, folk tales of America or other countries, for lessons on life, such as a German folk tale, The Frog Prince. It centers on keeping promises.
I like it because it makes us keep promises with other people. The ideal is that we're going to learn to make a promise and keep that promise. Now, there are good promises and bad promises, and as kids grow up, they learn which are good promises to keep.
And in the process of doing your stories, you actually are trying to teach the children a lesson. Each one of them has a theme per se, correct? Do you find those in the stories, or do you develop those out of the stories?
As I look at the stories, I try to ask myself, what's the strong message in the story? And the Lazy Jack story is everyone can learn. And the Frog Prince story is making promises and keeping them. In school environment, we get homework. We have to do that. That's part of the promise that we have with schools.
Whitman does his homework. Now, he may alter the story for a happier ending and add to the drama for laughter, but he also has learned to develop his own style of storytelling to inspire young children to love to read.
Right now, where you're reading and you're writing down the titles of your books are finished. So if you're interested in that, you can get your sheet at the front desk. We'll explain all the rules to you then. And we have with us Marilyn Price today. And I know she comes from Illinois, but I'll let her...
Marilyn Price finds puppetry a valuable way to teach a lesson.
Computers. They use the computers. Anything else?
You have to be quiet.
You have to be quiet. You come to the library to be?
I can read.
Read. Oh, excellent. What about if you can't read? What happens to you in the library?
I know.
What?
You get kicked out.
Kind of, sort of, in a way, but that is the thing to do at the library, is to learn. To learn good things, to learn things that will make us grow to be the best possible people we can be. And sometimes you come to the library to see programs, and that's what I do.
She began her puppetry profession 27 years ago. While at the Jasper Public Library, she taught a few lessons on the value of rainforest as well.
Every day it rains in the rainforest. That's why it's called the rainforest. So if it not only rains, it must have forest too. And it's gorgeous. The leaves are so thick on the trees in the rainforest that...
For this session, she chose a story based on fact.
It's a way to start the day. I am sure you will all agree. A great big hug is a good way to start the day. And Oradiva started her job that way.
One from India, and one that showed all the animals that were protected by one rainforest tree.
But one you might be familiar with. He hopped out and he landed on the man's knee. He looked at him and he said in his very own language, "Cribbit, cribbit, cribbit. Don't jump down my tree. How dare you take away what I need? Look at the flies that come to this tree. They're my dinner, they're my snack. I need them to eat, I need them to live. Once they go and the tree goes, how will I survive? Don't chop down the tree." He nestled right next to the man's knee and stared at him with his large eyes, clattering.
We asked her why protecting the rainforest was a valuable lesson to teach.
Do new ones all the time, but I have about 50 different show topics. Some of them are within a major topic. I have a piece called Around the World, The Wonderful Whirl of Puppets, and in that are about 15, 20 different folk tales, and I always add to that one. This piece, the rainforest piece, was built to suit a library theme in Chicago when they were doing the rainforest series. And then I use it in schools, and I've traveled it a lot now because it's a overwhelmingly interested, high curriculum topic, one that is of immediate concern and importance to everybody because of the nature of the rainforest.
Why do you feel that?
Because the rainforest diminishes in size every day, and we need it. I like my coffee in the morning, so we got to have rainforest. People like chocolate. That's where it comes from. Some of the medicines that are established out of the rainforest are vital. And in the story context, people learn by stories. So the materials that I can impart to kids in schools, libraries, like today, they can swallow easier because that's the best way to learn, especially for kids and most especially actually for adults. It's a topic that you have to put yourself in. We don't live in the rainforest anymore. So it's hard to understand how something that we say is so beautiful is being destroyed. So a visual gimmick, for lack of a better word, like a puppet show, is a perfect medium.
He came up the side of the tree, he said, "Oxygen, oxygen, I need my oxygen. If you take away this tree with its carbon dioxide, I will have nothing to breathe. Don't take away the tree. I need."
There is plenty of football to talk about both on the college and high school level. We will do so right after this. Yep. All three area high school football teams will be in action tonight. Jasper will take on Tell City at Alumni Stadium. The Wildcats are 1-2 after last week's win at Boonville.
Jasper got in the win column with a 20-0 win over the Boonville Pioneers at Bennett Field. Jasper scored all three touchdowns in the first half, and the defense pitched the solid shutout. Matt Cartwright started the scoring with a 14-yard run with 2:45 to play in the first. He scored another touchdown at the 9:50 mark in the first half on a 5-yard run. Cartwright scored the final TD of the game with 3:12 to go in the half on a 13-yard run. Cartwright ran for 142 yards. He was backed by sophomore fullback Brian Lewis, who rushed for a career-high 128 yards on 17 carries. The Jasper defense held the Pioneers to under 200 yards of total offense. Once again, it was Jasper 20, Boonville nothing.
The Wildcats will be without senior tailback Matt Cartwright for the rest of the season. He suffered an ACL injury Wednesday during practice. Meanwhile, the kickoff is set for tonight at 7:30. You can see it tomorrow morning at 10 right here on UPN 27. Meanwhile, the big game around southwestern Indiana tonight, Southridge battling Heritage Hills in Lincoln City. The Raiders tuned up by pounding Pike Central last week 66-12 at Raider Field.
Southridge opened their PAC and home schedule at Raider Field with a 66-12 pasting of Pike Central. After a failed onside kick to start the game by the Chargers, the Raiders scored on their first play from scrimmage as Corey Minke lofted a 57-yard touchdown pass to Ben Steckler to make it 7-0 after the Brent Alley PAT kick. After a defensive stop, the Raiders scored on their next drive as Craig Harbison bolted in from the 3 to make it 14-0 Raiders. With 5:56 to go in the first quarter, Minke hit Steckler again, this time from 9 yards out as Steckler broke a tackle and got into the end zone. It was 21-0 at that point. Then to close the first quarter with 14 seconds to go, Harbison got loose, jumped over a defender, and scored on a 27-yard run to make it 27-0 Raiders. Then on the first play of the second quarter, the Raider defense had the next score as Brent Nally picked off a Charger pass and took it down the far sideline for a 75-yard interception return to make it 33-0. Steckler then would catch his third touchdown pass of the game. He hauled in a 36-yard aerial from Minky with 9:26 to go in the second to make it 40-0 after the Jason Blemker kick. Again, the opportunistic Raider defense put the ball into the end zone as outside linebacker Shea Ubelor picked off a Nathan Farmer pass in the flat and raced it back 16 yards for a touchdown to make it 47-0 Southridge. Still in the second quarter with 7:44 to go, Brent Nally scored on a 28-yard touchdown run to make it 54-0 Raiders after the Blemker kick. Southridge finally rounded out the scoring in the first half as Alex Smith scored on a 4-yard run with 2:47 to go before the break. It was 60-0 Raiders at the halftime intermission. The second half was played by Raider reserves. Pike Central scored the only touchdown of the third quarter as Aaron Wiscaver caught a 5-yard touchdown pass from Farmer. With 9:21 to go in the ball game, the Raiders picked up their last score of the night when Alex Smith carried in from the 3-yard line. The highlight of the night for the Chargers came on the ensuing kickoff as freshman returner Chris Guthrie took the kickoff back 85 yards for the score to make it 66-12. On the game, the Raiders used 9 different running backs, 4 quarterbacks, and several others in that route.
Heritage Hills, meanwhile, heads into the clash tonight after a big win themselves, 88-0 over Wood Memorial.
5 Patriots scored a school record 13 touchdowns as Heritage Hills routs Wood Memorial 88-0 in Lincoln City. John Goldsberry rushed for 4 touchdowns on the game. He started the scoring with a 28-yard run after the Wood Memorial opening kickoff. Jake Cutler returned 3 Trojan punts for TDs in the game. Sophomore running back Brandon Flippin scored 3 touchdowns on the ball game as well. He rushed for 2 touchdowns while picking off a pass for another score. Bart Yoakum also scored a pair of touchdowns for the Patriots. Sophomore Matt Hagedorn scored a TD in the fourth quarter as well. Kicker Ryan Elliott kicked a school record 10 extra points. The Patriot defense held the Trojans to minus 59 yards rushing. Once again, the final score, Heritage Hills 88, Wood Memorial nothing.
Kickoff in Lincoln City in about 25 minutes. Meanwhile, you can see it tomorrow at 12:30 right here on UPN 27. Also, a lot of college football to talk about. We will do so right after this. All right. It will be a huge day in college football around the state tomorrow. Notre Dame will battle Purdue at Ross-Ade Stadium, while the Indiana Hoosiers are at home against the North Carolina Tar Heels.
Notre Dame will be trying to bounce back from a tough 26-22 loss to Michigan when the Irish faced the Boilermakers at Ross-Ade Stadium. Notre Dame coach Bob Davie talks about the progress of the football team through the first 2 games.
Offensively, I love the aggressive style we have. I like the diversity we have. I like the playmaking ability we have. But it's obvious we cannot win playing the caliber teams we play with the mistakes we're making. That's simple. But we control it. We have to eliminate the turnovers. We've had 7 already this year. You go back the last 2 years, we had 13, I think, in '97. We had 13 going into the USC game last year for the entire season. And we've already had 7. So we need to eliminate turnovers. Now, is that easy to do? It's not particularly easy to do when you're a diverse offense and you have young players. And we even have more young players playing this week. You'll see Julius Jones back there on punt returns. You may see Terrence Howard back there on kickoff returns. So we all see we need to eliminate turnovers.
In playing Purdue tomorrow, Bob Davie knows the Boilermakers will be a tough foe, especially with Drew Brees and that basketball on grass offense that Joe Tiller likes to use.
I think all of us, it goes without saying that you have tremendous respect for Purdue. There's not a football team, there's not a football coach in the country that would, relish going to West Lafayette and playing the Boilermakers. They've done a tremendous job, and they don't need me or you don't need me to say that. I think everyone realizes that. They've done a great job with that program, and you look at what they've done. I think 11-1 at home since Joe Tiller's been the head coach. You just look at they've won 7 straight games. Won 2 bowl games against 2 really good teams. And I think when you look at them, you always start off with looking at that offense, and it really is a challenge, both mentally and from an athletic standpoint, matching up athletically. But the mental part of it is just how much pressure it puts on you. Reminds me a lot back when the University of Houston was in the run and shoot. It's a little bit different because they play with a tight end sometimes, but it's just every play. Every time the ball snapped, there's a chance that they can score. It's that style of offense, and it puts tremendous pressure on you mentally. And it is a little bit foreign to you. So because of that, there's a lot of mental strain on players in the game, and then obviously just matching up, spreading people all over the field.
The Boilermakers of Purdue come in at 1-0. They routed Central Florida last Saturday in Orlando. Last year, the Irish beat the Boilermakers. That doesn't sit well with Joe Tiller. He says this rivalry between Purdue and Notre Dame has heated up.
Certainly it's a great football game to be involved in as a player, number one, and I guess as a fan, number two. Maybe I'll take the role as a fan this week, I don't know, but certainly playing this football team, I think anyone who plays Notre Dame, it's kind of a special date on their schedule, if you will. But certainly for Purdue over the years, it's been a great rivalry, and yeah, we've got it a little more competitive, and hopefully we can keep it going that way.
When looking at the Irish, Coach Tiller is concerned about Jarius Jackson and the Notre Dame offense.
Well, Jackson's the type guy that can hurt you in a lot of ways. He can hurt you as a runner, and really probably not as much as people think in terms of making you miss, but he's a strong guy. He's going to run the ball on the option. He's going to keep it. He's going to break tackles, so he's going to hurt you that way as well as throwing the football, because now that he's been, the #1 guy, his level of play has improved. And certainly they're always going to have a good ground game at Notre Dame. They always have, because they've always had big, physical, dominant offensive linemen. Driver moving back there, at least we won't be able to hit him as an open DB now. So, but he's a good football player. Went to Notre Dame as a running back. Is back on offense, doing a good job. Certainly the type of football team that can control the clock against you.
Down south in Bloomington, the Indiana Hoosiers will take on the North Carolina Tar Heels. The Hoosiers are 1-0 after a 20-9 victory over Ball State last Saturday night. Coach Cam Cameron talked about the team's play against the Cardinals.
Well, first half we played, I thought, extremely well. Offensively, did some good things, and defensively shut Ball State out. Second half, for whatever reason, didn't play quite as well. I think the 2 turnovers were major factors in that, and then a couple of mistakes in the kicking game with our field goal unit, which will get corrected. But as I went back and just looked through the film closely, there were enough things that we can get corrected in order to give us a chance to play significantly better against North Carolina.
The Tar Heels come to Bloomington 0-1 after losing to Virginia on a last-second field goal last Saturday. Cameron scouts sophomore quarterback Ronald Curry and the rest of Carl Twerbush's Tar Heels.
Well, we played North Carolina a couple years ago in Chapel Hill, and they were #1 defense in the country. Spoon started on that defense, and he's starting on this defense. He's a Butkus Award candidate. I think he's the only 3-time Butkus Award candidate, so he leads the defense. They're younger on defense than they were last time we played them, but it's the same structure and an extremely difficult defense to attack. Offensively, they've got 5 fifth-year seniors, all guys that were on the team when we played before, And then they've got Ronald Curry, the quarterback, who will do nothing but get better every play and gets better each week. So similar style team, a little bit younger, but I think a lot more talented, especially at quarterback.
Notre Dame and Purdue will kick off at 12:30, while IU and North Carolina will do battle at 6 in Bloomington. This has been 27 Minutes right here on UPN 27. I'm Kurt Gutgsell for the entire Happy crew. Have a great weekend.